Hey there, it's Jazz. One of my biggest regrets as an Amazon seller is not getting a business card. It actually took me over 2 years to open my first business card, mainly because I thought you needed a lot of employees, a huge warehouse, or making millions and millions of profit per year. And I'm here to tell you that anyone can open a business credit card, whether you have a startup, you have a partner, you are a freelancer, you're self-employed like myself, or you've simply been in the business world for a long time. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why you should apply for a business credit card, the requirements you need to actually be accepted, and if you stick until the end, I will be giving you the 5 best business credit cards, whether you have a high or a low credit score, or you simply make $0 to millions of dollars of profit every single year. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm really focused on personal finance, entrepreneurship, and having a wealth mindset. So I'd be extremely grateful if you subscribed and hit the like button. And with all of that being said, let's get to the video. Now I want to go over why you should apply for a business credit card. One of the greatest benefits of having a business credit card is that your employees can actually have a credit card under your business credit card. Initially, you're going to be able to eliminate a lot of the reimbursements to your employees. On top of that, your bookkeeping is going to be cleaner, mainly because you're going to have access to all the statements. And lastly, that's actually going to bring you a lot of cash back rewards because you're not going to be giving cash to your employees, but instead they're going to be using the credit cards, which will add up those redeem points. For example, let's say that you have a meal prep company and you have your employees deliver most of the meal preps. Instead of paying them cash for the gas, you're going to be able to give them this credit card to be able to use it for gas, which will eliminate most of the reimbursements. On top of that, you're going to be able to have all the statements online, and you're going to receive a lot of cash back rewards with those gas points. The best part is you're going to have access to have control over these cards because you are the primary card holder. This will allow you to monitor employee spending. You're going to get a lot of alerts whenever the card is used, and on top of that, you're going to be able to add limits to each card. But just be mindful that at the end of the day, you are still responsible for each credit card that you give to your employee. The next benefit is you will no longer mix your personal and business expenses on your credit card. This will allow you to be able to have a cleaner slate every time you take it to your accountant. And on top of that, you won't have to worry when you do have to pay taxes because you have it all in one card. Third benefit is you're going to get more access to more capital, especially if you are a freelancer and you use up $20,000 to $30,000 of expenses, but you end up not paying it until the end of the month, which is a little tricky because you really don't get that money until you are done with the project. So this is a great way for you to have that capital until you actually get paid. The last reason why you should open a business credit card is because you're going to get more perks with a credit card than you will with a debit card. Now, if you are a startup, this is one of the most crucial things to do because you can receive up to 1 to 5% cash back, and that can actually add up over time. Now, you can also redeem miles if you travel, and also a lot of gift cards, which can actually be beneficial if you are trying to grow as a company or as a startup. Now that we went through why you should open a business credit card, let's go over the requirements that you need to be able to apply when it comes to getting a business credit card. Now, I apply for both Chase and American Express, but I do not recommend for you to do that at the same time, mainly because when you do apply for a business credit card, they do check your personal credit, so it can give you a hard inquiry, which can lower your credit score, which I will talk about that later on in this video. But I just wanted to let you know that it's more beneficial just to choose one company, one credit card that you know will benefit you the most, instead of opening or trying to apply for multiple, because it will impact your credit score in the short run. Now, I'm only going to go over some basics, but since I did apply for Chase and American Express, they are so similar. There's really no difference because it's basically the same requirements, and I will be going over what I did in each one in case you have any questions. Now, the first thing they're going to go ahead and ask you is your business legal name. This is simply whatever you called your business. Now, if you are a sole prop or self-employed like myself, you don't have a business entity, you can go ahead and use your legal name, mainly because later on they're going to ask you for your social or EIN, but you can also apply by using your social security, but I will go over that later on. Now, if you are self-employed and you want to protect yourself and your family, personally, I got an LLC for that reason. That way, no one can actually go after my assets because it can get a little tricky when people do end up wanting to sue you or trying to take your personal assets. The next question they will ask you is your contact information. Super simple, your email, phone number, and of course your address. And then after that, they're going to want to go ahead and know your industry type. Now this can get a little tricky, especially if you are a content creator like myself or you're an Amazon seller. So try your best to pick the one that is as close as your business as possible. Now the fourth one they will ask you is your business entity and your legal structure. This is mainly for tax reasons. They just want to go ahead and know whether you are a sole prop, an LLC, an S corp, a C corp. And if you are a sole prop, you can go ahead and just put like individual. They're mainly just going to ask you your social security after, or your EIN. After that, they're going to want to know how long you've been in this business, and of course, how many employees you have. If you haven't been around for a long time and you're a startup, don't lie, actually tell them the truth. And if you are your only employee, you're only self-employed, personally, I just put 1. That just means that you're the only one that's going to get paid in the whole business, which is exactly what they're looking for. And after that, they're going to want to go ahead and ask you for your federal tax ID. This is your EIN, which is your employer identification number, or if you're a sole prop, you can go ahead and use your social security number. And the next one is a little bit tricky, especially if you are a startup. They want to know an estimated revenue and an estimated spending, mainly because they want to know how much they should give you in this business credit. Just try your best to estimate and give yourself a good ballpark, because if you do need $10,000 because that's how much you're going to be using every single month, then go ahead and put that down, because that will actually give American Express, Chase, or Capital One a good perspective of how much you're going to be using per month. Back then, that is mainly why I thought that I couldn't get a business credit card, because I was just like, I don't make enough money. Like, what's the point of me getting a business credit card if, you know? So this is something that I personally was a little ashamed and embarrassed of when I was answering it. Now, the next question they're going to ask you is your personal credit score. Now, the main reason why they want to check your credit score is to see if you are a reliable borrower, right? So the best thing they can do is check your credit score. Now, with your credit score, how I like to look at it is like your GPA. So it's like going to high school, getting good grades, right? If you have a high GPA, more college and more universities are going to want you in their school. It's the same thing when it comes to credit, right? They're going to check your credit score, and they're going to want to know whether you pay on time, whether you have a low utilization rate, depending on all of those things, whether you have any collections, whether you went through bankruptcy. They're going to know all the loans. They want to know who you are, because to them, they are a business, and them to lend that money to you is a risk. Don't get surprised when they do check your credit history. It's just mainly them figuring out whether they should take that risk with you or not. Now, if you do have a low credit score, at the end of this video, I will be showing you one of the business credit cards that does accept a very low credit score. So please stay until the end for that. Now, I do want to let you know that whenever you do apply for a loan or for a credit card, they do a hard inquiry on your credit score. So that just means that they actually, when they're looking at your credit, they ding you down to a couple of points. So your credit score might be at 700, but when they check it, it might go down to 690, depending. And it's a huge impact that you're kind of like, whoa, you know what I mean? So please do not open multiple credit cards at the same time, because hard inquiries can actually lower your credit score in the short term. So it's one of those things where you want to be careful and not just apply, because if you do need that extra capital, you want to be able to pick a credit card that best benefits you and your business, and then actually get that hard inquiry on it, because we don't want to lower a credit score and then it impacting our future. Because even though you do not need a credit score to get a house, get a car, because you can pay in cash, you don't know the opportunities that you can get in the future that ends up needing your credit score. So just be mindful of that, and choose a credit card that best benefits you. Now, I want to go over the 5 best credit cards for any startup, freelancers, or even self-employed. These are my favorite, and I will be going over the minimum credits and of course all the benefits of each one. You end up choosing which one benefits you the most. You can go ahead and do your own research, but these are the ones that I personally like, and you can go ahead and choose whichever one you want at the end of the day. The one that I personally started off with is the Blue Business Plus credit card from American Express. I love this, but it does have one minimum, which is your minimum credit. They have a 700 minimum credit when you are applying for this, so please be mindful. I will show you the fifth one is going to be one for low credit. But the cool thing is for 12 months, you do not have to pay any interest. So if you are a startup and you need, $5,000, $10,000 to get yourself, a computer, get yourself tables, buy products, especially if you are an Amazon seller, this is one of the great ways. The only thing is that you do have a minimum of 700 when it comes to your credit score. And one of the great benefits when it comes to this credit card is the fact that there is no annual fee. And as you know, most American Express has an annual fee from $95 to I believe $595 per year. So having this business credit card is a great way for you to build up to platinum. Personally, this is the one I love. You can go ahead and start with Chase, which will be our second credit card. Now, the second credit card that I personally like is the Inc. Business Preferred Credit Card by Chase. Now, the downside is they have an annual fee of $95 and the minimum credit is $700, as you saw with American Express. So between American Express and Chase, I personally like the American Express mainly because there is no annual fee, and as a startup or a freelancer, I don't need extra fees. I want to make more money and not have to pay anyone. But then again, you get to choose which one you prefer. If you are someone who already has a Chase credit card and you're comfortable with them, I would go ahead and use Inc. Business Preferred. But if you want to go ahead and take advantage of American Express, you can do that as well. Now, if you cannot spend $15,000 in the first 3 months, you can go ahead and get the third business credit card, which is the Inc. Business Unlimited credit card with Chase. The cool thing about this is they give you $750 for a welcome, which is great, but you need to spend $7,000 in the first 3 months. And it's attainable if you're going to be spending, $2,000 to $3,000 per month. And then they have a 0 APR for the first 12 months. So if for a whole year you can spend as much as you want, and if you can't return it, that's fine because you don't have to pay interest. And on top of that, you get 1.5% unlimited on every single purchase. Now, this one does not have an annual fee and the minimum credit is $660. Now we're going to go to the last two, and these are mainly for people who do not have a good credit score. They are more likely to accept you than it is with American Express and Chase, which is Capital One. Now, Capital One Spark Cash for Business has a welcome offer of $500 for the first 3 months, but you have to spend $4,500. On top of that, they have an unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase, zero cap. So if you spend $100,000, you're gonna get those 2% cash back. Now, they don't have an annual fee, but they do have a minimum when it comes to your credit, which is $660. And lastly is your Capital One Spark Classic for Business. Now, this one does not give you an annual fee, but it does give you 1% cash back. So I would prefer the Capital One Spark mainly because it has a 2% unlimited cash back, which is a little bit better than the Classic for just 1%. But you get to choose whichever one. The cool thing about this is they have a minimum credit of 580. So if you are someone who has a very low credit score, this is something that is a great way to start, especially if you need that extra capital to be able to buy products or to start your own business. And the whole goal with this credit card is to rebuild your personal and business credit, which is an amazing credit card for anyone who did have some personal problems with their credit score, had some personal problems with money in the past, but wants a second opportunity. I would automatically go to this one for anyone who does have a low credit score. Like I said in the beginning, anyone can open a business credit card, and it was one of my biggest regrets not opening one, mainly because there's so many benefits. And on top of that, even though you have your business checking, it's very important for you to receive those perks, especially as a business owner, because imagine if you do spend $100,000 per year, you get that 2% cash back every single year. You can use that extra income to reward your employees or to buy yourself a new equipment. It's a great way to earn that passive income by simply buying the things you already do. And you get that access to capital in case you don't get paid until later on by anyone who you get to work for. But if I did end up bringing you any value, please subscribe and hit the like button. Go follow me on Instagram at Jazmin Bautista, on TikTok at MeJazz, and most importantly, leave a comment down below on which business credit card you're gonna go ahead and try. But most importantly, always remember, be someone that makes you happy.